What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and yes, the Red Sox had a really tough start to 2022. A really crappy start, in fact. But recently, they've been playing a lot better. A lot of great things are coming out of the Red Sox right now in the past couple of weeks, yet I'm still seeing a lot of negativity online towards them. I'm seeing a lot of comments on my YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of comments on other people's YouTubes, a lot of comments on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, wherever you want to take in Red Sox content. There are negative comments everywhere. The negative comments are mostly pointed towards, well, regardless of how well they're playing, the start to the year or the construction of the team is just so bad that it will not warrant a playoff berth. Well, today I'm here to debunk that theory. Why? Because I feel like we need a little positivity towards this team. We've seen a lot of negative stuff the past couple of months regarding the Red Sox, and it's time we change that a little bit. Because the way they're playing right now, and I'm not going to say they're back or anything like that, but I just want to remind people that we're not really out of this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about ways that the Red Sox can still make the 2022 MLB playoffs and ways that can make this season entertaining. We're also going to go over what it's going to take for the Red Sox themselves to get there and what it's going to take for the rest of the league to allow the Red Sox to get there as well. But before I get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. If you're new here, also make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos as well. If you are newly subscribed or currently subscribed, it is the best way to help this channel out, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Let's start with the fact that the Red Sox are only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. Yes, you heard that correctly. Even with the Red Sox poor start to the year, the Red Sox are only 2.5 games out of playing in the playoffs if the season were to end at the end of the month or next week or whatever. It seems a lot more miserable when you look at the Red Sox record compared to the rest of the AL East, because it is kind of tough to look at. We're so far behind the Yankees that when you look at the division, it starts to become a Yankees colored black hole, a tough hole that might be hard to come out of, and it might be. Maybe the Yankees run away with the division, but if you go back and you take a look at the entire league as a whole, you can see that the Red Sox are still very much in playoff contention. It just might not be as a division leader, which is fine. We don't need that. We've seen teams go into the playoffs and go really far as a wild card team, like we saw last year in 2021. Right? The Yankees and the Red Sox battle it out. They win that. They beat the division leader. We're the second best team in all of the AL by the end of the year. All we need is a ticket to the party. So how do we get there? Well, for starters, you need to beat teams that are ahead of you. What is a prime example of this? Well, the team we're playing right now. The Chicago White Sox currently, as of right now, I'm recording this before the first game, so after the first game, obviously that's going to change, are 2 games ahead of you. You win this series against Chicago, whether you sweep or win, you are either even or ahead of Chicago, and that's what you kind of got to do. You got to climb the ladder. But even if this series with Chicago doesn't go as planned, there's still 121 games to do that. This is still a very young season, and a lot of those games are going to be against teams that are either ahead of you or fighting against you to get into that wild card spot, and there are going to be a ton of other prime opportunities to get into those games. Look at what we did to the Mariners, who were in our shoes coming into the Red Sox series at Fenway. They were ahead of us. They were only 2.5 games back, yet we sweep them, and now suddenly they're towards the bottom of the wild card standings, and we've moved up to 2.5 games back. There are plenty of opportunities to win this wild card spot back. And even if we don't end up doing well against a team that's ahead of us, maybe not this one time, like say we don't beat Chicago, all the Red Sox need is for them, one person in that wild card spot, whether it's Tampa, whether it's Los Angeles, or whether it's Toronto, preferably Toronto because they're at the bottom, to lose one series while the Red Sox win one series. Again, 121 games left to play. You're telling me at any point in this season, if the Red Sox can keep up the record that they have now, that Toronto isn't going to get swept at any point in this season, that Tampa's not going to lose 5 in a row at any point this season, that the Los Angeles Angels aren't going to cool off at any point this season? That seems impossible to me. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds more realistic that one of those 3 teams is going to fall off a little bit. But the question is, and I think the question that a lot of people are responding negatively to, is whether or not the Red Sox have what it takes to be there when those teams fall. Because they can fall as much as they want, but if the Red Sox aren't there to pick up the slack and take over where those teams were, then none of this matters. So that's the big question. Do the Red Sox have what it takes? We've been seeing this question posed everywhere, right? It's been on my channel, it's been on other people, it's been everywhere. Even before the season started, the question of whether or not this Red Sox team has what it takes to be a contender in the AL East, in the AL, and in the MLB in general. And the answer, if you've been watching this team all season, is simple. It's yes. The Red Sox do have what it takes to be a contender in this division, in the MLB, and in the AL. Because when you're looking at the Red Sox playoff chances, you no longer have to look at just the division. You have to look at the AL in total, because now there's 3 wild card spots, 3 extra chances for you to get into the playoff. Being only 2.5 games back should tell you plenty. It should tell you that they are in contention. If you want proof of that, let's take a look at the Astros series. The Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from a team that had won 11 straight. That's not exactly an easy thing to do, especially when the Astros were playing as hot of baseball as they were. That's too small of a sample size for you. Let's look at the Mariners. And the reason I want to look at the Mariners is because if you want to point out that at the beginning of the year, this Red Sox team just simply couldn't put anything together, you're not entirely wrong, but you're not entirely right either. Every single game felt like you were getting slapped in the face, right? Is that a good thing at the time? No, it sucks a lot. But is it a good thing in the grand scheme of things? Yes. And the reason it's good is because they were only 1 or 2 pieces away from actually putting it together. Well, in the Mariners series, that's what we saw. Pieces would fall off and other pieces would pull them back up and bring them back to life. What I'm talking about are when Garrett Whitlock had a tough game, the offense was there to still put together a competitive game and ended up winning it. The bullpen was there to have Garrett Whitlock's back. When Hanzo Robles does what Hanzo Robles does and gives up a blown save in the 9th, the offense was there to have his back, and those were things that we didn't see at the beginning of this year. Are there holes on this team that you can point to and say, look, these need to be fixed or we're not going to compete? Of course, you can do that with any team in this entire league, but there's certain things that each team has that you just can't put into a stat line. And one of those things that I've been seeing from the Red Sox lately is their ability to keep the wagon together, right? The one wheel falls off. Maybe it's the relief pitching. One wheel falls off. Maybe it's the starting pitching. But something is there to hold it together, whether it's the offense, the pitching, the defense, whatever it is. Lately, the Red Sox have been able to do that. Whether or not they'll sustain that is a different question, but they don't need to sustain it at the rate that they're sustaining it at now. They just need to wait for their time to strike. It's no longer we need to win 17 games in a row to get back into this thing. No, we need to just stay where we're at and stay playing the way we're playing and wait for an opportunity to arise. Orioles come into Toronto and sweep 4 games. Toronto and Tampa face each other and Tampa sweeps Toronto, or Toronto sweeps Tampa, right? The Angels, Shohei Ohtani falls and breaks his back. I really hope that doesn't happen. That would be terrible. But either way, that's an opportunity for the Red Sox, right? For those of you who are out there saying there's no hope, this is over, you're just simply wrong, factually wrong. The question of whether or not they have the ability to compete, well, that's a little bit more of a gray area. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. Are you on my side where you think this team has what it takes and you don't think that this season's over? Are you on the other side? Let me know what your argument against this would be. Let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, if you've made it to the end of these videos, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos as well. If you're newly subscribed or currently subscribed, it is the best way to help this channel out, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the next one.